Hi, welcome to... I'm going to start again.
Sorry, mistimed call.
It's okay. Hi, welcome to Bridge the Atlantic. We're your host, Marcia Novelli.
And Ross Barber.
Today on the show, we have Roo, furry musician, podcaster, and digital marketer for artists at Dale Speaking. How's it going, Roo?
Going pretty good. How are you doing?
Good.
Sweet.
Good. Yep.
I'm well. We like to start off our show right off the bat asking each guest to tell us 3 things about themselves that everyone should know.
Oh, that everyone should know?
Yes.
Oh, lordy. I am Canadian, so I guess that's one thing that everybody should know, because it has a lot to do with how I kind of act in life. I play a lot of instruments, so I'm sort of multi-instrumentalist. I like picking things up and just figuring them out. So it's not just working with artists. I like to play with music as well. And I'm a furry. You already mentioned that, and that seems to be something a lot of people don't like to talk about, even if they are. But I'm one of those proud furries. So
what's
I don't
a furry?
care. What's a furry?
Ross, do you know what a furry is?
No.
Okay, so we both don't know what a furry is.
I wanted to say yes, but then I was like, no. If I say yes, then I'm lying, and then I might get quizzed on it, and then I'll just look like a fool. So, no.
All right, what's a furry?
Okay, we get made fun of a lot on the internet. We're those people that like cartoon animals, and sometimes there's a small division of them that will dress up in like full animal costumes. I do not have anything like that. That's crazy stuff. That costs so much money. But I've spent the last 18 or 19 years basically in this sort of geeky subculture. And it's sort of like my little, I would say it's my side life, but everything's sort of brought into my life. Like That's where the name Roo comes from. I'm a kangaroo. And and all my clients, all my employers, they all know me as Roo, and
that's all I know you as.
Yeah, so it's who I am. So I don't try to hide it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a little weird. We get made fun of a lot, but
it's
I don't
okay.
care.
Weird is good. We like weird on this show. Good. Ross is incredibly weird. I don't like to tell him, but he's.
I'm
sorry. Did I? That was awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of didn't know that. I'm learning new things about myself all the time.
There you go. See, it's funny. 'Cause I'm like trying to look in the background of Ross's place to see if there's anything extra weird there, but I can't tell yet. Oh, the little drum kit. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, there's a drum kit, and there's an Assassin's Creed thing, and there's tons of books.
I see books. That's good. See, books. If this was at my house, I would probably have one of our bookcases. We have a whole wall of bookcases because we're all very much book and actual. We buy vinyl and stuff. If we like an album, we buy it on vinyl, even if we downloaded it, just because we like that physical thing. Like I like having things on the wall.
Yeah, I like physical too. That's the one thing I always worry with people having so much digital. There's nothing wrong with that. It's accessible. People have it, whatever. But you don't have a physical copy of something. It makes it, having a physical copy is something you're going to see in 20 years and be like, oh, I haven't listened to that record in 20 years. Let's put it on.
I mean, I've got a physical copy of this.
Hey,
I don't thought it's familiar.
That's cool.
You know what's so awkward, Ross? That's the first time you've ever done that in the show. And I'm actually wearing the exact same outfit as on the front cover. That's so.
Again. Put the album up again.
Turn it slightly.
A little bit because of the light.
What a loser.
Yeah. I miss physical because it's not even just, there's also like you hear the old fogies talk about the ritual of opening up the vinyl, but even to like CD to cassettes and all that kind of stuff. Especially with cassettes, with vinyl, when you put on the music, you're almost forced to listen to it the way that it was laid out to you. You press play on. It's such a hassle with vinyl and with cassettes to forward and rewind to find different songs. I did it. When I was obsessed with Bjork's Post album, I used to just flip through the album nonstop. But then I'd also throw it on and just listen from start to finish. And with vinyl, with cassette, it's kind of cool to have that complete album feel.
Yes.
Where it's less like you're listening to a mixtape that you're sort of making on the fly. It's more, this is how it was intended to be heard. So when people say the death of the album and all that, I'm like, I get where they're coming from, but I kind of miss the physical idea. You drop it on the platter, you drop the needle, and you don't touch it. You put a lid on it so you can't get to it. You're sort of forced to listen to it from beginning to end. Yeah,
and that actually makes me think about, I actually had someone tell me once, an engineer tell me, don't worry about track listing, people just download songs anyways, and I don't even care if that's really true. I just have to ignore that because I'm like you, where I still like that story. Like story.
even if I'm listening to an album on my iPhone, I still want to listen to it in order, unless I'm listening to stuff on shuffle, which would generally be artist to different artist to different artist to different artist. If I'm listening to one artist, I want to listen to the album from start to finish.
Yeah. Yes.
Unless there's any song that I hate, and then I'll skip it. But, generally, I will listen to the full thing from start to finish. And maybe we're in the minority. Maybe we're weird.
Yeah, but you know what? There's always going to be this minority, and it doesn't hurt the people who don't care to listen to it from beginning to end. But why not still do what's true to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The way I look at it is, would you get a movie and only watch certain scenes?
Some people would,
unless it's an anthology movie.
Yeah, like maybe ABCs of Death, you might skip the dumb ones. But I don't think you would. And I think because music is made up of, it's almost like the chapters are little mini chapters, people can flip to the ones they like the most and it still works. I like especially concept albums. I don't really care for that many, but the ones that I do, I like listening from beginning to end. So you kind of get that full feeling for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. So you have a university degree in theater and history from the University of Guelph, and you also attended the Recording Arts Management program at Harris Institute for the Arts.
Yes, I did.
First of all, and I actually, it's going to lead to my next question. You interned at Universal Music Canada. What is your opinion on education versus experience?
Interesting. It's in the end, most people will tell you that the experience is more important, and that basically education is kind of just throw it away. You don't need it. But I think there are exceptions to that. I went to Harris because I'd gotten my theater degree, and that didn't really work out. And I've always loved music. I've been a musician. I've played live. I knew all that, but I just did not understand the business. It didn't make any sense to me. So that's the main reason I went to Harris Institute, and why some people go to other schools. When I say there are some exceptions, I don't want to toot my alma mater's horn, but Billboard recently released the top 11 schools to learn about the music business, and it was not only the only Canadian on the list, but it was also the only non-university on the list.
Really?
And it was number 4 of the top 11, Harris. And there's a lot of other great schools in Ontario and across the world. But I think if you're looking to get a good overview of how the business works, because it's weird. The business is weird. So if you actually want to kind of get an overview of how it works, I think education is really important, as long as you plan to then jump immediately in and try to get work as fast as possible.
Well, it's not only weird, it's ever changing too.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't make, if you look at it 10 years ago and 10 years before that, completely different than how it is right now.
Well, and you've been in the industry for at least that long. So how have you seen, this change, this completely different music industry that exists today than when you first started out? What are the major changes that you've seen, and how do not only industry professionals but do artists adapt to that?
It's whether they do.
A bit of a loaded question.
Yeah, a bit. It's strange because just every year everything's a little bit different, and there's the only real way you can keep up with it is I'm a big supporter of go online, read blogs, whether it's Mashable, TechCrunch, music blogs, anything like that, just to try to catch what people are talking about. There's obviously going to be trends, and never try to chase trends, because whether as a musician chasing a genre trend or chasing a tech trend, follow it. Snapchat, for instance, people went ape over that. And there are some musicians who are using it really well as a way to reach out to fans, and others, they could do without it. But it doesn't really matter. Some people are using it, some people aren't. It's changed so much that I don't think you can actually describe how it's changing until it's changed again.
And chasing a trend too. By the time you've released anything, it's already over.
Passed.
What's the point, right?
Yeah, with a trend, when you're chasing a trend, all you're doing is moving away from what you want to or should be doing towards something you think you should be doing, and by the time you've caught up, there's going to be something else in its place.
Well, because that trend was already brewing for the last little while, and just because you know about it now doesn't mean it didn't start 5 years ago. It didn't start 5 years ago, exactly. Yeah, it's really hard to say how things have changed. All I know is that when I first got involved, there was a lot more. There seemed to be a lot more lean away from digital marketing and towards traditional marketing, and over the last even just 5 years, that
that's really flipped. When I was at Universal, there was one digital marketing supervisor above me. She was really good, and I was her intern basically, and that was the department. And wow. Things have changed a lot. Not to say that other marketing managers and stuff weren't working in digital. It's just for an actual digital marketing department, at least working with artists, going social media, working with blogs and stuff. There were the two of us. Now, since then, I came here to Dale Speaking, and I started off just sort of as an intern, but then we've noticed the importance of working online. That's where you kind of build your fan base. I would say that your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube, SoundCloud, all that is really just what used to be called a fan club. Mm-hmm. And you're building up various types of the fan club. Instead of sending out a 45 at Christmas to your fans like REM used to, post stuff on YouTube or on SoundCloud. And to reach out to your fans so you can communicate with them, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, Pinterest, or anything else that people use. It's really just a big, far more engaging, interactive fan club. And those are the people, if you do it right, that are going to care enough to buy your music when you release it, or to go see you live, or to buy your merch, or to view your video when you release it. It's just you're building this foundation online, which 5 years ago wasn't really the case as much. I don't think people saw social media as much as you're building your fan base on social media.
I mean, I think the only thing that we kind of had was MySpace, which was a huge, great thing at the day. But I don't think the industry really understood how to utilize that, which was kind of the cool thing about it. Yeah. It was a real kind of an indie do-it-yourself thing. But of course, the story of that, it got bought out. Ads came in, and that was the end of that. Yeah. But no, one thing I do realize though is some artists are trying to do too many different social media sites, and they're losing that focus. I personally think that you should do whatever you're most comfortable with. I'd like to stick to about 3. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and Instagram. But just because it feels natural to me. But I don't really get Pinterest. I don't really get these other sites, or Snapchat doesn't really work for me, but it might work for some artists. So, if anyone's listening right now that doesn't really know the approach to take, what would you tell them?
The 3 you just mentioned are the big 3. Yeah. It's a good idea to try to have some kind of presence on them, but this is something we tell artists here all the time. If you hate Twitter, don't use it, because it's going to show so clearly to fans. That's when you get a fan to do it, or you get somebody on your team to do it, but you just clearly mark, like, this isn't me talking. Yes, exactly. They're talking about stuff for me, but this, and tag it. When I was working with an artist group here in Canada called Headley, on their online stuff, we tagged everything Team Headley or TH. So the fans knew it wasn't us, or it wasn't them, it was us. They knew by responding they were going to get a response from the team, but they wouldn't be disappointed in thinking they're actually talking to the band. Yeah, exactly. And because the band didn't have time to use, they were busy to use Twitter, so we tweeted for them, but we were clear about it. Same with Facebook, same with YouTube. I mean, YouTube's a bit different. A lot of people sort of have filmographers or teams, maybe don't know how to use iMovie or Final Cut Pro or whatever it is, Windows Movie Maker, to make their own videos. So they might need to get other people to do it for them. But it's just those big 3, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You should have a presence there, whether or not it's you. And if it's not you because you hate it, get somebody, a street team, a friend, a manager to manage it for you. I still think you should try to make an effort to see if you actually do like it.
Yeah, exactly. I was
you might say you might hate it for the wrong reasons.
I think Headley, they can get away with it because they're of that status. They're a much bigger band that can get away with having a team do that thing. But I think for the majority of artists, especially independent artists, do it yourself, But like I said, those 3 sites, including Instagram as a fourth, I love them all. I love being on them. That's why I use them, and I think that comes across. If I hated it, like you said, I wouldn't use it. Yeah, it does show. It shows. I definitely think use what you like, but besides Headley or those examples, don't get someone else to do it and if you really don't want to do it.
If you really don't want to do it, then it's a matter of maybe having it instead of Marcio Novelli, it would be Marcio Novelli fans. I like
that better, Narcio Movelli.
Narcio Movelli.
There we go, just call it Narcio Movelli.
Narcio Movelli. And that could be it. That could be the fan club.
Exactly, right?
But it would be a matter of being clear what it is and saying this is the fan club tweets, but it's the official Twitter account for the artist. Now,
exactly.
If you're an indie artist, it might be kind of weird if you have this fan club managing your stuff, but it's a matter of just having something there for people and not going out there and saying, I hate this thing. Because I don't know if you've flipped through artists. It's weird, people talking about how much they hate the social media they're using. And it's like, I'm not a big fan of, I don't like negativity in tweets. And you're going to have
I agree.
Yeah, and like social media. I don't like when people are negative, even if they're being negative, to be constructively critical of something. But generally, I suggest try to keep it positive, see if you can figure out what you like about it and focus on that. And as best you can, don't make it a billboard, make it a conversation.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, billboards are bad when it comes to using social media. Make it a conversation.
That's something I've actually told people as well is don't tweet negatively. I mean, if you have that thought, save it as a draft. Look back at it in an hour or the next day. If it's still irrelevant, something you still think is worth sharing, share it. But don't let it be. It's just like real life. Sometimes we say stupid things in the moment. Take a breath, think about it. Do you really want to put that out there? This is especially if you're a band or a solo artist or anything, that's a representation of who you are. That's how people are getting to know you. Do you really want to show, that negative side that is just kind of the cloudy, your mind being cloudy?
It can backfire so quickly.
Yeah.
So, you can delete it, but people can take screenshots. People,
it's off-putting. I've unfollowed people because of that. I don't need to get this negativity. There's enough negativity in the world,
Exactly.
Put out more positive.
And it's very clear that people react better to positive, upbeat, funny, whether, say you're not a stand-up comedian kind of funny and you can't distill your sense of humor into 140 characters, doesn't mean you can't make observations that might be quirky that people can find interesting.
Yeah.
It's sort of like taking the positive side of yourself and thinking, like, what do I like in people? So if I like this artist, there's an artist in Canada called Donovan Woods. Okay. His tweets are hilarious. He's very tongue-in-cheek. I believe his website is like the best songwriter in the world.com or something, but like he's obviously doing it all tongue-in-cheek, but he's very funny to read because his tweets are humorous, but his music's like beautiful. Like he's almost the polar opposite when it comes to the music. The music is like singer-songwriter, beautiful stuff, but his tweets are hilarious. And his fan base knows he's a funny guy from his live performances. His banter is hilarious.
Right.
And it's cool to play on your strengths and recognizing what your voice is, especially when working with social media. You should try to go, okay, what is my voice here? Like if I'm not a joker, a one-line joker, what do I use on Twitter so I can get my personality across?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's, I was just going to say, it shouldn't, like, this can come off as sounding like we're planning something or telling people to plan it, but really it's just being yourself. Learning how to put yourself into, like you said, 140 characters or less, Yeah. And it's, I think being genuine goes a long way, and people can see through bullshit. You know what I mean? I always say, especially fans of independent music, I think they're looking for something real. They're looking for something genuine I think you have to be that way, or don't do it.
Yeah, no.
So your official title at Dale Speaking is digital marketer and video promoter.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what your, I hate to say duties, but what your duties are at Dale Speaking.
Duties.
I know. I feel like a little child. I said duty.
It varies. It's very much artist to artist to artist. Within Dale Speaking, just as a company, a lot has to do with working on the website. We started off, we obviously have a pretty big experience. That's not really a good way to say it. A big history. 2004, I think we sort of started off with artist who eventually became fairly well known, called Feist, and Dale got her on the radio early on. Since then, a lot of cool artists: Alexis on Fire,
City
in Color, Bush, a bunch of artists like that. Rival Sons, who are pretty big right now. When we started off, our website was basically, when I started off here, it was pretty much just a billboard. Here's some artists we're working. Here's a single that's gone to radio. And the first thing that I wanted to do was change that into more of a blog that would help educate people about the industry from our perspective, what we understand of things. So a lot of what I do right now is trying to get that blog up and running. We've had about 200, 250 blogs out, pretty much all educational, a couple sort of more entertainment. So a lot of my duties It involves working on the blogs, coming up with ideas, sort of getting stuff organized that way, and keeping it updated. But then obviously there's also the artist work. And like I said, like clients, every artist is different. So you can't take your template, plop it down, and work with someone. So generally my work involves figuring out what kind of strategy we need to try to spread the word. Is this somebody that everybody knows about already? We're just trying to spread the word about a new single or a video. Or is this somebody who's not established yet? We have to kind of build them up and help them build a fan base. And the majority of it has to do with, it's almost like coaching. It's talking, figuring out what do you like, what don't you like, where are you at currently with social media? Do you understand the difference between Twitter and Facebook? Do you have a video camera? Will you be interested in shooting videos? And especially with like independent artists who are just starting out, questions like that, like, are you interested in shooting video blogs about your process so the fans can kind of get an insight into your personality? Or are you just going to leave that alone? Are you just going to focus on Twitter and Facebook? That kind of stuff. It's literally just, we call them Mika meetings, because I used to work with an artist called Mika Barnes, who was in the Nylons, which is one of those big Canadian a cappella bands. And he was one of the first artists I worked with. So we refer to them as Mika meetings because it was our first meeting with him that helped us flesh out how we were going to actually go about this process. And when I realized I hate the word brand when referring to an artist,
yes,
I use the word character because I think that says the same thing without making it sound like a can of Coke. And like looking at, when you're trying to suggest to an artist, we need to build a digital strategy, part of that has to be what they don't want. What don't you want to do?
I like that, yeah.
What kind of stuff do you not want to be associated with? Say a sponsorship comes along, but it's a sponsorship for a product you don't like or use. Are you still willing to use the sponsorship because of the funding may help you go on tour? Stuff like that. Like, yeah. I used to refer to those as like poisons. What's the poison? What stuff do you want to stay away from? Because we will always put up a wall when that comes up.
Well, I know I'm fine with dildos, but it's the double-ended dildos that I find offensive.
I know, right?
You know what I mean?
Well, it really depends how thick they are. Yeah. But what can you do, right?
What can you do, man? We're all built differently.
I like the True Feel one. I still like those hard plastic ones. So really.
Oh my God! Now,
yeah,
would you be able to offer some advice to how to market a music video online?
Ooh. Because this is something a lot of my clients ask me, and I have no idea really, because there's so many videos. Like, it's so difficult, and people have such a short attention span, and it's really tough. Like, it really depends on what kind of video you're. Obviously, like, OK Go, when they do their videos, they're marketing their videos not only on their name now, but on the cleverness of the video, and it kind of taps into that. People want to see something weird, or unique. One thing we've been doing recently with artists here, at least one artist and another artist that did it independently, is to do fan-sourced videos where your music video is made up of videos that are sent in to you from fans. I've been wanting to do that.
Familiar. I wonder who did that. I'm wondering who's currently doing that. Me.
It's smart though. And we did that with Jimmy Rankin.
It involves everyone, you know. It makes it a community, which it should be, and which it is.
And you have not only and then on the marketing side of it, those fans are going to share it with their friends. And if you have contacts in the industry, like other musicians, you can get musicians to film themselves lip syncing part of the song. And when you include that, now they're going to share it as well. And it plays into one of my big suggestions to artists is that be good friends with other musicians and share their music videos on your Facebook channel. And they'll do the same with their Facebook page. And then you're tapping into each other's fan bases. It's like artist cross promotion. It's really smart.
And again, it should be genuine if you genuinely love their music.
If you love their music.
Don't be a douche
about it. And chances are you are going to like some other musician's music. So.
Yeah. Hopefully. Unless you really hate music and you just make it. Other than that, really, I find your best bet is to have the foundation built before you go out and try to push it. And this applies to everything. Don't release an album. If you have an album ready to go out, that's fine. You can release it, but don't be disappointed when you only sell 10 copies on Bandcamp, especially if you only have 10 followers on Twitter, which would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be, that's the best conversion ever.
Yeah. But like, you have to have that base built up before you go out. So whether that's through touring, through online, through video blogging, through setting out a couple of singles, cross-promoting with artists, anything like that, you want to try to build up an actual foundation of fans. Like they call it the 1,000 true fans. You could always start off with 100 and build up to that 1,000 instead of shooting for 1,000 true fans, which literally really is all you need if you want to actually have a career where you're not relying on other people for money. You only need 1,000 fans, because if they each spend $100 a year, you just made $100,000.
Exactly.
That's not bad. Yeah. So start off with 100 fans, and then when you have your 100 fans, and you have 100, 200 people on Twitter, but 50 people are always responding back when you're talking, which would also be amazing. Then when you release your album, it's more likely you'll actually sell it. Or if you put your video online, it's more likely they're going to share it and you're going to get views. Just having them there before you throw things out and hope things work out is just, I think that's the best advice anybody can take.
There's a double-edged sword too, because you need content for people to get interested in you.
Catch-22.
Yeah, but I think that's where demos come in, or single, or whatever.
Or video blogs, or blogs. Just write blogs about music, stuff like that. Yeah.
Are you ready for 20 questions, Roo?
Oh God, I guess so. Yes, let's do it.
Ross, you started off.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll start these ones. Okay, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Meat or veggies?
Meat.
Boo.
Yeah, Marcio hates you now.
No.
First two answers are the opposite of what you would say.
It's okay, I still love you.
CD or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Friends or Frasier?
Oh, Frasier.
We're bringing it back a decade.
Yeah.
Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter.
Melody or rhythm?
Melody.
Solo or band?
Solo.
Indie or major?
Indie.
Tori Amos or Tori Spelling?
Tori Amos, big time. Silent all these years.
The Simpsons or Futurama?
Simpsons.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Celine Dion or Marilyn Manson?
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Yoga or yogurt?
Yogurt.
Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
Michael Bolton.
Oh, you finally got one, Ross.
Choice. A few people have said Bolton.
Yeah,
they're too shy. That's
no, man. Only furries say Michael Bolton.
Yeah, it's the hair.
Yeah, it's true. He's got big hair.
Okay, Roo, this one's for you, buddy. Twerk or work?
Oh, work.
Oh,
I don't. Some people have hips that swivel. Mine don't. My body just kind of.
Your hips pivots. Don't lie. That's what I heard.
My hips don't lie. It's true.
Ricky Gervais or Ricky Martin?
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. Whale or Kale?
Are we talking Whale the band and John Cale?
No, but we can.
How about, I'm gonna go with Whale.
All right, Bette Midler or the Riddler?
Bette Midler. Yes.
And finally, drum roll, Ross. That is my drum roll. Ready? This is the most important question you'll ever be asked for the next minute. Okay. Ross or Marcio?
Rossio.
I like it.
That's the best possible answer.
That's the least controversial, and that's how you make two friends, not one.
Do people actually give a specific answer?
Oh yeah. One of my clients was very, very quick to say Marcio, and she'd never met him before. And we've known each other for a year now.
What did you do to her?
Well, I guess I'm just the better host, really.
Yeah. I mean, she did. Then she sent me like a really nice letter. So, I mean, all is sort of not forgiven.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't either.
Kaylin, if you're watching.
Oh, man. So, Roo, what's on your iPod these days? What are you listening to? What sort of music recommendations do you have?
Oh, I really like ARBuckle. Okay. He is a Toronto guy, sort of alt country, very cool stuff, very Canadian, a lot of Canadian references, and I've been really getting into that. I got the new Alt J, and that's been making me very happy the last little while. Okay. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Tiffany, always Tiffany.
All right.
Tiffany from the 80s, the mall girl. She's,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I actually have a framed picture of her next to my desk.
No way.
Yeah.
So, Roo, where can people find you online? I know there's underthepink.ca. There's obviously dalespeaking.com.
Yep.
And you're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere?
Yeah. I'm on Twitter as Potteroo, Potoroo.
Okay.
I think I'm Potteroo on Instagram as well, but I also show up as Roogoyle because I am a kangaroo gargoyle, just to make this interview extra weird.
It's okay. This is new to us.
Yeah. So, and that's another way to sort of find me around. And I'm on that Bandcamp place. That's a Roogoyle one. Roogoyle. I'm on there with music.
Yeah, because you released a full album. Tell us a little bit about that before we wrap up here.
Okay. Yeah, sure. It's a collection of songs I've been writing for a podcast called No Budget Nightmares, which reviews low budget, no budget, just generally pretty bad movies. But it's sort of the thing. I have a lot of respect and love for low budget movies because of the clever, creative ways they have to get around the fact they have no money. So I figure they deserve the same respect other people do. So I've started writing songs for them. The last, 17 episodes of the podcast, I write a song. And then in August, I released B Folk, because that's what I refer to it as, like B Movie.
Right.
B Folk, Volume 1. And it's got 14 songs plus a bonus. It might be a cover song. And it's all there, all songs about things like kindergarten ninjas, redneck zombies, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, the regular stuff.
Yeah, the regular stuff. That was Dale just walking in.
Oh, okay, I was
yeah.
Just reaching up, you're just thinking about your next thought.
Just thinking about
and there it is.
Yeah, definitely. All really weird stuff. I've been told a lot of the songs are pretty, even though there's songs about horrifying films. But I think they're pretty enjoyable, and that's sort of been my project the last little while. That's my creative project there.
I love how you're doing a bunch of different things, and you're not afraid to just do what your heart desires. Just never limit yourself, right?
No, you should never limit yourself. Absolutely. If you want to try something, go for it. One of my favorite movies of the last couple of months has been Kevin Smith's Tusk. Everybody says it's a big bomb. And I went to the world premiere.
Yeah, I should have been there. At TIFF,
I saw that. Well, my friend Tara, her brother, is one of the producers on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we might be getting on the show, actually.
I went to see the world premiere, and I loved it. I adored it, and everybody talks about how it was a big bomb. But really, it was just a midnight movie, and he wanted to do what his heart said, and he's even said, like, it's the one movie of all the movies he's ever made that ended up looking closest to what he thought it would look like in his head. He wanted to make that movie that was in his head, and he made it basically 100%. And if it only makes a couple of mil at the box office, who cares? He made something he wanted to do, and I absolutely loved it. I think everybody should take that approach. Don't worry about the money, don't worry about the fame, don't worry about anything like that. Mm-hmm. Just do what you want to do. If it's successful, great. If it isn't, you at least did something you wanted to do.
Well, nothing's worse than you do something you didn't want to do and it's still not successful, and then you sit back and think, well, it could have at least done what I wanted to do.
And you could have devoted that time, yeah.
And also, success is defined in many different ways. A lot of people like to define it as monetarily, but I mean, that's so transient. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
And just one thing about Kevin Smith, I watched a talk he did, and he talked about how a lot of his movies don't make a lot of money at the box office, but it makes a killing on the downloads, and it makes a killing on the rentals. So that's why he still gets money to make movies, because you're going to make the money back in one way or another.
And Tusk has already made its money back. It secured him funding for Clerks 3.
No kidding.
Yeah, I read that yesterday.
Yeah, and it's led into him making 2 other movies in what he's calling the True North trilogy.
No kidding.
One is his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter, as 2 girls fighting supernatural powers, and a third one is called Moose Jaws, which is about a moose. Well, it's basically Jaws with a moose in Moose Jaws, Saskatchewan. So, and it's all the movies are set in Canada, and they're all really clever and quirky and midnight cultish. So I think it's awesome. So that's what everybody should do. Everybody make the craziest stuff that comes to mind.
I love that.
Whatever you love, just make it. Just go.
Oh, there's no better way to end off the interview on that, man. That's great. I love it. That speaks volumes to who you are. I think Ross and I can agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Hey, man, this has been an absolute pleasure. Please do come back again very soon.
I'd love to. It'll be fun. We should do this more often.
Sounds good. Oh, there we go. Let's do that. Oh, wow.
That's the first part we've had.
I can't reach. There we go. Ross, you have to try it. You have to try this one. Oh, Ross is pretty good. You guys are way better than me. I can't do this. Here we go. So we'll end on that. All right.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Awesome.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Bridge the Atlantic. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe so that you don't miss each week's episode.
Click on the videos above us if you'd like to see more, and please feel free to leave us a comment letting us know what you think of the show.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes so that you can listen to us on the go. Thanks again for being awesome, and we'll see you on next week's episode.